Can Turkey's homegrown fifth-generation aircraft, the KAAN, get rid of its insufficient heart? When the highly anticipated stealth fighter first flew in February 2024, the outside world was surprised to find that its core components were still dependent on the Western supply chain, especially the F110G 129 engine from General Electric. This embarrassing situation has become more and more prominent with the continued deterioration of U.S.-Turkey relations, and in July 2024 the U.S. formally imposed an embargo on Turkey's F110 engine, leading to the KAAN program to fall into the dilemma of body but no heart. The international observers have speculated that Turkey will turn to Russia to seek alternatives. In early 2025, the Turkish media exposed shocking news. Pakistan not only plans to purchase 120 KAAN fighters, but also the introduction of a full set of production lines, and the model will be replaced by the Chinese WS-10G engine. This turn of events not only affects the international arms trade pattern, but also reflects the wave of global aviation power system reconstruction. As a member of NATO, but has long been away from the Western camp on the edge of Turkey, the development of its aviation industry trajectory is unique. KAAN project. Since the beginning of the start of the hidden problems in 2011, the Turkish Aerospace Industries Corporation, although the aerodynamic design, composite materials and other areas of breakthroughs, but in the field of the most core aviation engines have not been able to break through the technological barriers. This structural defect in the U.S.-Turkey relations honeymoon period by the stable supply of F110 engine covered, but when the two countries due to the S-400 air defense system procurement, Syria policy and other issues intensified, the engine supply immediately became suspended in the head of the KAAN project, the Sword of Damocles. It is interesting to note that Turkey did not initially look to the east, but tried to lobby the European Union to obtain the technical support of the British Rollo or France Safran, a strategic miscalculation that led to the project wasted 18 months of valuable time. European companies are subject to the U.S. international traffic and arms regulations of the technical embargo provisions, even the most basic European companies, constrained by the technical embargo provisions of the U.S. International Traffic and Arms Regulations, ITAR, did not dare to transfer even the most basic turbine disc forging technology to Turkey, which ultimately made Ankara realize that it was no longer possible to seek technological breakthroughs within the Western system. The Russian L-41F engine was originally regarded as the most realistic alternative to the Su-57, supporting the development of the Product 117 engine with a single thrust of 15 tons, theoretically able to meet the power needs of the KAAN fighter aircraft. But the continued consumption of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict has completely changed the rules of the game. The Russian aviation industry is not only facing a shortage of precision parts caused by Western sanctions, but also to prioritize the supply of engines to ensure that the front Su-35, Su-30SM fighters. More critically, the Turkish military through secret channels to obtain the actual service life of L-41F data is shocking. In the Syrian battlefield, intensive use of this type of engine average overhaul interval of only 400 hours, far lower than the F110 engine 6,000 hours standard. This disparity makes Turkey realize that even if it can break through the political barriers to obtain the Russian engine, the subsequent maintenance costs and operational efficiency will also become unbearable. Moscow's technology for the market conditions more so that the negotiations have reached an impasse. Russia requires Turkey to use drone technology and electronic warfare systems in exchange, which directly touches the most sensitive nerves of Ankara. In the field of cutting-edge military industry, the emergence of Chinese aero engines provides a third option at the right time. 2024 Zhuhai Air Show unveiled the WS-10G engine with its 14.5 tons of added thrust and modularized design, which is an improved version of the J-20's powertrain that not only has a full authority digital electronic control system, but also has third-generation monocrystalline and ceramic composite turbine blades that surpass the high-temperature resistance of their Russian counterparts. High-temperature resistance has surpassed similar products in Russia. What makes Turkey more excited is that China Aviation Industry Corporation, AVIC, has promised to provide a joint technical improvement program, allowing Thai engineers to participate in engine adaptation, which is particularly valuable in the context of the Western technological embargo on Turkey. Behind this openness is the bottom line of China's aircraft engine industry. From the first installation of the WS-10B in 2016 to the mature mass production of the WS-10G in 2024, China has taken 8 years to complete the US's two-decade path of technological upgrading. The digital R&D platform of Shenyang Engine Design Institute has shortened the development cycle of new models by 40%, while the fully automated production line of Xi'an Aero Engine Group has boosted production capacity to 300 units per year, a systematic advantage that has opened Turkey's eyes to the possibilities of building an autonomous aircraft engine industry chain. Pakistan's deep involvement in this transnational technical cooperation has added geopolitical chips. As a successful participant in China's Dragon project, Pakistan's aviation complex in the localized production of combat aircraft has accumulated rich experience. According to the framework of cooperation disclosed by the Turkish and Pakistani sides, Islamabad will not only undertake the production of 40% of the components of the KAAN fighter aircraft, but also plans to set up an engine overhaul center in the Kamla Aviation City. This technology for the market mode of cooperation not only alleviates the financial pressure of Turkey, but also for China's export of aircraft development has opened up a new path. Through Pakistan, this security intermediary, China can circumvent the NATO countries on the sensitive transfer of technology restrictions, while Turkey cannot completely irritate the United States under the premise of the realization of the power system transformation. However, this delicate balancing act behind the hidden risks, the U.S. Congress has issued a warning to Ankara on the issue of third-party technology transfer. The Turkish lira outside the media on the day of the news should fall 2.3% of the market reaction, reflecting the complexity of the international community on the technology game mentality. More noteworthy is that India suddenly announced the acceleration of the Anka 5 generation aircraft project. Its defense minister Singh bluntly said to prevent certain countries to build abnormal military technical alliances. This South Asia, the Middle East stealth fighter competition has already drawn the curtain. Standing in the global aviation industry changes in the perspective of observation, KAAN fighter engine predicament is by no means an isolated incident. With the sixth generation of fighter aircraft research and development race heating up, the traditional aviation powers of the power system technology blockade is becoming more and more strict. The British Storm program using the three-conveyor engine, the U.S. Adaptive Variable Cycle Engine, are set up harsh technical barriers, and even traditional allies have begun to appear between the tendency of technological protectionism. French President Emmanuel Macron openly criticized the weaponization of key technologies by certain countries at the NATO summit in 2024, pointing to the U.S. restrictions on European aircraft development companies. In this context, China, Turkey and Pakistan in the KAAN project cooperation, in essence, emerging industrial countries to build a westernized technology alliance of exploratory breakthrough. Turkey's defense industry agency has allocated $350 million in the 2025 budget for domestic engine pre-research, plans to complete the Turkish Heart prototype test before 2030, and China's aerospace development commercial development of the EF-1300 large containment ratio engine to complete the high-altitude platform test, marking China's key progress in the field of civil large thrust engine. These trends together outline the future picture of the multipolar development of the global aviation power system, when the US F-135 engine, because of high maintenance costs criticized by many countries, the Russian Product 30 engine mass production progress continues to lag behind. China aerospace development is a combination of technology plus production capacity, plus cost-effective, to open up new horizons. When technical autonomy has become the new battlefield of the great powers game, KAAN fighter engine choice, or will be recorded in the 21st century military-industrial history. From a grander historical perspective, this began with the engine supply technology breakout, perhaps reshaping the order of the aviation industry dominated by the West since World War II, as the 19th century steam engine revolution gave birth to the hegemony of the British Empire. The 20th century jet engine to lay the U.S. superpower status. The 21st century, the new power revolution is being bred, a multipolar pattern of technological power. Turkish President Erdogan's statement during a visit to the Thai plant is poignant. True independence starts with being able to make your own heart. This statement applies not only to warplane engines, but perhaps also heralds a new era of awakening technological sovereignty.